everybody, all my Moments with Celeste friends. Come on in. We're going to spend a few moments together here this evening. And we are, if there's anybody out there like you, gosh, it's what, almost 5:20 p.m. Central Time here. We usually don't eat our supper anymore until probably close to 7 o'clock. So I thought, well, maybe there's others out there that aren't in the middle of dinner time that would like to come in and just hang out for a little bit. So I'm just going to chat. I'm going to try to fix my little table. My little table here needs some taping on it, all I can say. So I'm going to put some tape on my table because this little cardboard makeshift table cover that I have, likes to come off, so I have to use lots of tape on it. So if you come in, say hi, would ya? Love to just chat for a few minutes, and I don't anticipate we'll be real long tonight. And just gonna hang out a bit, just because I want to with you guys. I'm missing you guys. I'm missing you. So, there, we'll see if that holds, right? So, hi, Tammy. I love your little emojis there, the little tulips and the flowers and the butterfly and the heart. Those are so sweet. Those are so Tammy. Yes, they are. So, come on in, say hi if you're out there. I'm not sure we'll have anybody because, like I said, I wasn't planning on it. But I had our weekend was kind of a busy one. We had my sale, which I want to say thank you so much to everybody who participated in that. That was Friday night. So Saturday for about 3 hours, we got everything bundled up and invoices sent out. And then today we got everything to the post office. So if you're watching this and you were someone who had purchased something, it's been in the mail. If you have paid, there's just 2 people that I haven't paid yet, but everybody else had. So the rest of you, it's all on the way, okay? So it's been, yesterday had church. I worked in children's ministries yesterday morning, and then came home and I took a long nap yesterday. Yes, I did. I took a long nap. And then we went and, let's see, today I was supposed to have a doctor's appointment at 8 o'clock this morning, clear on the other end of Omaha, and the alarm went off at 6:45, and I thought, I just can't do this. I just cannot go out there in the middle of rush hour all the way across Omaha. And so I'd had a funky headache and everything, so I thought, well, I'm just going to call them, I'll cancel it, and that's what I did, and I slept for 2 more hours. And then I went to Bible study, had a great time with my friends. Some of you have seen 2 of my friends probably here on my lives. You've seen Deb Scott and Topics with Anthony or Tony. And Tony is my good friend Deb's brother. And so if you ever want to watch something that gives you a simple little time of some words of inspiration, Topics with Anthony, I encourage you to follow him because he is very uplifting. And I have followed him now for, I think, almost 2 years. And guess what? Today we met in person for the first time. So I hadn't known Anthony personally, but I knew he was, my good friend Deb's brother. So today he was at Bible study and got to meet him. So that was wonderful. So then I came home with full intention today of getting my room back in order, my little, studio back in order. And I did that. I came in here, sat at my table. And as I started to pick up stuff off my table, got into creative mode. You ever done that? Now, I am going to tell you, I just have one device tonight, so I hope I'll see your comments as they come through. But, so I just thought, well, let's just jump on and kind of show you a little bit of what I did today. How's that sound? I go to work tomorrow, working Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesday, I will be on the Vintage Wednesday event on Crafty Bunch. And I believe my time is, it's either 3 or 4 p.m. I think it's 4 p.m. Central Time, I believe. And that's Heidi's event that I'm in, and I look forward to that. And so, like I said, if you're here just hanging out with me, just say hi, and let's just talk and visit for a little bit. I'm going to probably get on again during the weekend, and then I will probably jump on. I never want to promise, because this week through May on my Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm working at my scrapbook job at the scrapbook store. Say that slowly, Celeste. And I'm going to be, right now I'm doing 12 to 6, but I'm going to be moving it to 10 to 4 on those 2 days so that I can jump on and have maybe like a 6 o'clock slot for my lives on those nights. So that's my plan. And, but other than that, so today I just kind of piddled around a little more. Remember the other day, if you watched it, when Lori and I did ours together, and we did our little live that she had done some stenciling on some book pages, and that's something that I've liked to do for a long time. And so what I did is I have this book. Now, you know, I could kick myself because this book is part of a series that I picked up at a little thrift store in a little town called Plattsmouth, Nebraska, which is about, probably about 40 minutes south of Omaha. And I go down there from time to time, and in a thrift shop, they have these wonderful series, the Tea Room Mysteries by Elizabeth Adams. And there were like 6 of the books. Well, I bought them because I thought, these will make wonderful journals and art media books. And then I kept them put up on the shelf for quite a long time. I bought these, I think, last summer. And I thought, oh my gosh, these would make such good little journal books. But then I thought, well, maybe I should read them because they look like a really good series. Haven't done it. And so I started tearing into one of them, which I know I'll kick myself at some point. So this one here, I don't even know what number it was. I just grabbed one. Let's see if it tells us, should we? Let's see. It says, it probably doesn't even say which one it is. Tea Room for Two, Tea Rose, Tea. Okay, this is number 4. The first one was Tea Room for Two. The second one is Tea Rose. Then there's To a Tea, and then Crosswords and Chamomile is this one. Aren't the covers beautiful, though? I know I'm going to be able to do something with these. You know I will, you guys. You know it. So anyway, I took my little tea room book here and started tearing it out. Oh, she's so nice and all, don't get me wrong. And she's very helpful in the bookstore. I'm there all the time for my book club, and she's always giving me good book recommendations. I always read the little signs they put under some of the books, and her pick of the month is always good. It's just, I don't know. Isn't she a bit, well, snooty? I think I really need to read these. I think it'd be kind of fun. What do you think? So, okay, so what I did is I tore the pages out of these, and last night, after we had come home from church and after I got my long nap, I just came in here and sat down. I didn't turn TV on or anything, and I just started doing some pages. So these are some of the pages that I ended up with. So, and I'm making these. There's 2 different reasons why I'm making these. Some of these are going to be given away at probably the retreat in September, but I'm going to make a bunch if I do that. And then others are going to be put in some of my journal kits for my next sale. But see how fun that is? It's just a page. I write on it. I draw on them. I use my stamp pad, inkers. Did all kinds of fun stuff on this one. I love the colors of this. What do you think of that one? Then I did this one here, which I thought was a lot of fun. And this one here, you can't see it as well, probably. Oh, I guess you can. There you go. Yeah. So, you know, my idea for these is that, you know, first of all, if you want to, you can make these for tags and things like that. But I'm thinking these will be great little journal pages in some different journals. And the way that that works is if this was a journal, you know, you get them in there, and then that's just a page that's going to be in there. And I just think that'll be fun, don't you? So, but the thing I love most about these is that I take them and I use my gesso, gel gesso, and coat it several coats. That's what gives it the sheen, and then it makes it feel more like it's kind of fabric. So that's fun. This one here, I didn't use up too much, but I used some stamps. So I did that one. And then I showed you this one. This one here I really love too on the back. Isn't that pretty? Just some fun stuff. Then, let's see, what else have I got here that I was going to show you? So the other day, and I can't remember if I told you this or not. Isn't it fun, Tammy? And it's just things that you have right around the house, you guys. These are just book pages. And ink, and my stampers, and I used some markers. So I have got 2 different markers, and I don't remember where I got these. I think I bought these at a sale from somebody. But this one here is called Retro Pastel Liners. And look at the colors of those. Aren't those pretty? And so I use that. I use those on this one here for the most part. So they're just some pretty colors, some different colors, aren't they? And then I had gotten this at a sale. These are called Jane Davenport's Sun Bleached and they're called mermaid markers. And they remind me of, hi everybody, hi Gina. And there's Rita. Thank you, Rita. Oh, I'm glad you guys are popping in. I know it wasn't planned, I just showed up. So this here is Jane Davenport. And what these reminded me of, let me see, I want to see here. I can show you what it looks like. Because I thought, well, what kind of markers are these? I've never seen these before. And I know I've got plenty of paper up here. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to use this, okay? Let me put you down here so you can see this for a couple minutes here. But, so these are called mermaid markers. And I thought, well, what the heck is a mermaid marker, right? So it's one of these. It's like a watercolor inside of them. So they had these little yellow pieces that you had to take this top off, and then you pop the yellow piece off, and then you pop this back on, and then when you screw these back on tightly, you hear it pop, it pokes a hole in there. So then you have to kind of, there's a little spot here that you push it when you need some more of the ink or the watercolor. And I just thought I was going to play with them. And so today I did some playing, and they're very light, but they're like watercolor. So let me show you. I'm just going to show you here. I wasn't planning anything to do tonight. I was just going to kind of do some stuff. Okay, so there's what it looks like, right? So now if I need a little more, I'm just going to push on here, and we're going to get a little more coming out of here. And it's a brush on the end, and see how it's going to bring, and that's because I pushed too hard. But I can, you know, if you do it too hard, just like with watercoloring, you know, sometimes you get those splashes. And look at that. Isn't that kind of cool? And then you can come in and do different shades. But I just thought these were, I got them on a sale. I got them for real cheap. And I thought, well, gosh, I don't know what that is. But I'm going to get a set. And I got this set here I got for like $3 from somebody's sale. You see? And it's like watercolors. Have you guys ever seen these? So again, mermaid markers is what they're called. So there's like all those colors in there. Isn't that fun? So then when I'm done with it, I just put the lid back on it and we put it away. Thank you for sprinkling, Rita. I appreciate that. I'm going to put you back up a little bit now so we can just visit for a few minutes. Gina, how have you been? I love that picture of you that I saw, was it last week, that somebody took a picture of you and the hat on the beach? That looked so fun. I don't know if you were on the beach, but that's what it looked like. Okay, so that's things. We've done these. I did these last night out of book pages. And then the other day when I was at work, so one of my jobs that I get to do is at the end of the day, because women are in and out all day long, okay? And they come in and use our big workspace, and they bring all their scrapbook, journaling, card making stuff with them. And they sit there, and they'll sit there. Sometimes they'll come in starting around 10 o'clock in the morning, and they won't leave until 5 o'clock. And so, you know, and they come, some of them come by themselves individually, some of them come with friends. And so then at the end of the day, I go around before we close up, and I just empty all the little trash cans, you know, that are sitting there to catch in all their snippet scraps, you guys. So, nice, please say name again of these watercolor pens. So Rita, these are called, they're by Jane Davenport. If you want to take a picture of it. They're by Jane Davenport. And they're called mermaid markers, but they're like watercolor because you could see it in there. It's just like water in those little things. And then what I had to do, so if you get these, they didn't come with instructions on how to start it. So I was poking and poking and poking. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to pull up and see if there's anything online. So I did. Hi, Alyssa. You must have heard me talking about work. How are you, hon? Did you work today? Or did you have today off? So, but these are called Jane Davenport's Mermaid Markers American Crafts. It looks like the company's in Utah. And so anyway, but if you get them and you don't know how to make them work, you can send me a message. or go online, find a YouTube, just put the name of it in, and that's what I did. Then it showed me. But they're pretty cool. So then these other ones that I have, these are those ones that I've gotten at a little sale too. They're called, they're by Marvy, and it's called Retro Pastel Liners. But I just thought the colors were so interesting in these. So for example, look at this. Looks like a blue-gray, right? So here, let me, look at the color of this, you guys. Can you see that? It's a blue-gray. Isn't that pretty? Well, gosh, now I got to make another heart. You know, I can't just start something and not finish it here. But isn't that a pretty color? And then there was this color. It's kind of like a moss green. Okay. So, heck, we'll just keep on making hearts here. This is very much a moss green. And then it has like a cocoa color, and it had a gray, and then it had the yellow. So, again, I had gotten these, picked these up at somewhere at a sale. Because that's how I do all my shopping. But anyway, so Marvy, Retro Pastel Liners. So those are kind of cool too. Well, hi, Gloria Quinn. Good to see you. What are you doing on this marvelous Monday, my friend Gloria? Are you having a good day, or is it a okay day, or did you do anything fun? So, anyway, going back to my job, Alyssa, at the Scrapbook Haven. So the other day I was going through and emptying the trash. And one of the ladies, you know, they make things and then they don't want it and they throw it away. Well, now you guys, I am not a dumpster diver, so don't anybody be putting that word out there, okay? But I do see things in my artistic eyes like, whoa. So here was a lady, and she had just taken some cardstock paper, and she had painted this watercolor on it, and then she did a little swish, and then she threw it away. She decided she didn't like it. And so I'm looking, it's laying in the top. So I took this piece of paper that she had watercolor on, and I took it back because in our workstation there at the scrapbook store, we have the Big Shots and the Sizzix and the things like that that do the embossing and things like that. Well, I'd never tried it before, so I decided to. So look what I did. Can you see that? Look at how that piece of junk, that piece of trash, is now going to be somebody's really a beauty, right? Hello, dear sweet Karen. I was telling everybody that anybody that ordered on Friday night, that everything went in the mail today, except for 2 people I hadn't paid yet, but everybody else had. So if you're one of the 2 that hasn't paid, just jump on and get that taken care of, and we'll get that in the mail too. But again, nothing but, so it'd be like somebody throwing this away in the trash. You know, they don't want it. But then I'll probably take this with me out to work tomorrow and I roll the Sizzix over it and make it an embossed tag. Why not? Okay. So I did that the other day. Then today, when I came home with all the best intentions of the whole wide world to get my area all straightened up again, because I try to do it once a week, I sat here and then I started picking at stuff that's on my table. And you know, when you have stuff like this that's sitting on your table, you know, all my little snippets and things like that. So Gloria, oh, you did laundry today. You guys, I'm so stinking spoiled. My husband does almost all the laundry anymore. Hello, Kathy. Just jumped in. Love that embossing. Isn't that fun? I had never done it before. I've seen it. I know it's, you know, but now that at my, because Kathy, I don't know if you knew, but I'm working at the Scrapbook Haven there in Ralston now on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it's right there by Spaghetti Works. So if you're ever out that way, come see me. But anyway, they have all the different machines and stuff that we can use when you come in there. So that's what I did. I tried it out. Thanks, Gloria. But glad to see you, Kathy. So then today I thought, well, I'm just going to piddle around here. So again, I took some just blank cardstock, and I have this stamp here that I had gotten on another sale. And it's this cute little, it's one that it says always from the heart. And then on here, it says kindness comes in many forms, but always from the heart. And it's got a couple different stamps in there. So I'm not, you know, I've never been a big stamper. I like it at times, but I always seem to get them crooked or smudged or things. And so I'm going to be practicing that more. But I took this and I put, this is the stamp, and then I took my watercolor mark pens here and I colored them in. Didn't that turn out cute? So that'll be, that won't that make a cute little pocket in a journal? And then the back of it, I backed with something else that was just hanging out here on my table, a scrap of this butcher paper. And I just backed it with that so that it can be a writing space or whatever it ends up being. So I did that today, just for fun. Then, as I was sitting here with my little watercolor marker mermaid pens, look at this. Are you ready? So I was sitting here and I was dabbing stuff up with my with a Kleenex. Okay, so take this off of here and started. I thought, because I had done one of my splatters and I wiped it up. Well, oh my gosh, did that turn into a beautiful thing? Look at this. You ready for this? Just wait. Okay, doing the push in. I can make my own tie-dye. Look at that. Just by squeezing a little bit of that on there. A little bit of my juice, my mermaid juice. Okay. Now, the best thing about this is it's 2-ply. So it made 2 sheets of this. Okay. 2 sheets of these, and then I let it dry, Look at, there's even some little splatters there I could use if I wanted to. Then, look what I did. I took those splattered sheets. I want to see if there's any other ones I did here. I took one of those little things, and I had some of these tie-dyed from Trisha's Pretty Papers, from her little postcards from a long time ago. Ta-da! I decoupaged the Kleenex that was a boo-boo mess cleaning Kleenex, and I decoupaged it on here to make a tag. Isn't that fun? You see those? So that's going to, you know, just be something fun. Easy and fun is what I'm all about, ladies. Gina, sorry I wasn't ignoring you. I had to step away for a minute, but I heard you. You were at the beach. I thought so. You looked so stinking cute, Gina, in that beach hat. I think you said that was one that Trisha had made, right? So cute. Then I made this little tag. So again, this was a piece that was in the trash of somebody that had just dabbed up some cardstock, and it was a big piece, and it was just a spot of it. So I brought it home, I cut it out, but then I did that embossing on there too. And then over here on this side, see the embossing through it? I took some of my pink tissue paper that comes in some of my packages, and I just decoupaged some of that on there, and that's going to be a good base. Now, wouldn't this is the actual pattern that it was just mistakes, okay, that this person had made on her cardstock. Well, I am envisioning that I can come in here now with maybe a little thin black or a little bit of my moss green, and maybe make a couple stems and make those into real little like flowers. Won't those be cute tags? And then who knows what I'll do at the front, right? Trisha did make it, and I love it. It's so cute. It is so cute. Then I did this one. Another one of Trisha's Pretty Papers. I am going to be so glad when Trisha's Pretty Papers gets back to making these again things, because I'm almost out of stuff. So I saw an announcement, I think it was yesterday, that she's been making some papers and they're going to do a sale, but hopefully I can get in there. Hopefully. But these are some envelopes that she had done all different colors. So I juiced them up. Look what I did with that today. Okay. So this will have a little tuck card in it for a journal. I put some cheesecloth here. This here was just a 3D sticker. And it says, "A simple life is all you need." And then I just put some little. So there's another one that's going to be looking for a journal home. Then this one, another little pocket. This one here was another little bag that I had. Well, when I was doing this page right here yesterday, last night on my sitting here in my quiet time, you see this part that has those speckles like there and there? Well, I had taken a piece of lace over here and cut it out, and I took some paint to get that pattern. Well, then today I thought, well, I don't want to throw that piece of lace away. So I made it into another little pocket for a journal. And all these things here are going to go into some of my journal kits that I sell. But look at that. Isn't that fun? Just a piece of lace, and I painted it. Cray, I know. The things that come to my mind. Bev said maybe Wednesday sometime. Oh, good, because I'm off work on Wednesday. I could watch. Rita is new from Mississippi. Not sure if you've seen. You're from Mississippi, Rita? Wow. Down in the kind of deeper south, right? I'm from Omaha, Rita. Can everybody else tell Rita where you're from? I live in Omaha. We had some wonderful Nebraska storms last night, tornado warnings and stuff, but nothing touched down here in our Omaha area. And so we're glad for that. But tell us where you're from, Rita. Okay, this one here I was just fudging around with. I had gotten this somewhere. It was a piece of cardstock, but it had, like, remember the print we used to use for the paper we used for kindergarten and first grade? So I just took that and I just used up the front of this. I had this sticker. This is a sticker. Again, I think I got this from somebody. at the Crafty Bunch retreat last fall. And then I just added some different things on there and put some wrinkled tissue behind it. This here was a piece of, out of my scrap stash. It was somebody had started crocheting something here and then they ended it. Oh, you are so welcome, Rita. I am so happy to have you with us tonight. Love new friends. So make sure you follow me and Moments with Celeste and you're going to get to know all these good ladies. We have a lot of good time. So that was one. And then, let's see. This one here was just a little plain piece of, actually this here was the back of a package of stickers. And you know, they come on the back. I just took the back and I saved it. But then look, isn't she cute? So I did that with a couple stickers and then I took my ink and kind of grunged it up a tad. But that's another one. Then this one, I don't know. This one just totally came out of nowhere. It has everything on it but the kitchen sink. So I used another one of those dyed cardstock, index cards from Trisha. You guys are either going to think, ooh, or you're going to think, or what the heck? Ready? Another little tuck card. Look at that, baby. Like I said, she has everything but the kitchen sink on here. So I put that rose colored, I backed the navy blue card with that rose colored lace top remnant that I had. And then there was one of those stickers left. And then I took some cheesecloths and just made them look like little flowers or something. Hi there, sweet Mitzi. Good, good, good. Good to see you. And then I had a snippet of some string. Oh, I think this came off of that one. This came off of this crocheted piece here. Right there. So there, see, I just took that. It was wrinkled, kind of curly, and I curled it around. Of course, did some of my vintage buttons. And then I had a little tag that was just laying here on my table. And some little vintage rickrack. I made a bow. This was a little torn off piece of a doily. Let's see. This was a piece of my sari silk ribbon that I had. Or, I'm sorry, seam binding. And then over here, I even got some bridal lace. So I just used it all up. And then the back, what I'm going to come in and do is I'm going to put a piece of paper, tear out and put on it for some writing space. But yeah. So just kind of sit here and I did all of these just this afternoon, just piddling around. All of these here. These were all my piddles. You guys ever have any piddle arounds that you do? I'd love to see some of the things you guys do. I really would. Now, the other thing that's been sitting here on my desk, now I definitely am going to take it on. You know what? I'm just going to sit here while we're doing this, and we're going to get this one all prettied up. Let's see. Let's do a yellow, because this one here is going to be a fun little tag. I'm going to make something out of this. You know, this is all you got to do, ladies. Just start doodling. You don't have to be an artist to do this. Trust me. You don't. Let's do another blue one up here. How about that? Do another blue one. Kind of do something in here. Just a little funky maybe. Okay. Then down here, let's go with, we can throw this beige in there. All of them are so cool. You know, Kathy, they're so much fun. They're so much fun, and they really are. The reason I enjoy doing these things is this is what I pull out on a day when I feel like maybe I'm not quite in my creative mode that I need to be in. Oops, I pressed that one a little too hard. And I want to do something to relax myself, just to kind of shut the door. You shopped with Michelle recently for the first time. Did you really? Oh, cool. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, then this one here, I'm going to take it and I'm going to come down here and we're just kind of do some overlapping. There's lots of great people that have sales. Lots of great people. Okay. And then, let's go back to this little green one. And we'll come in and just kind of squiggle it up a bit. And I'm going to come upside down because I want an upside down one now. I love hearts. I love hearts. I love them. So Rita, how'd you find out about my page, or did you just happen upon it today? Let's see, let's do another, just an open one here. Okay, then what I would do is I'm just going to take, let's see if I can find a pen. This is one that I think I actually got from Michelle a while back. Okay, and then I like to do the little, just tracing little scratchy scratches on them, okay? And I'm going to make this one kind of where to follow the line here. Can you guys see this or not? I don't want you just to see me. Oopsie. Ooh, hope I don't lose her. Okay. So I'm just doing some funky scratchy scratchies. Okay. Yep. My pen's going to die. My pen from Michelle's dying. Let's see. Go find something else here. I don't like to use a Sharpie on them only because they can bleed through. Now this one, it probably won't make a hill of beans, so let's just go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and do that. I like my thinner one, but I've left it out there. So, but you can just take these and just kind of do a little thin little line around them, okay? So I'll show you here in a second. I know I did some of this the other night when Lori and I were on here. But I like to outline it because I just think it brings out a little more. But then I also don't like to outline it exactly perfectly because I like it to look whimsical. And that's what I'm all about. So it's whimsy. So I'm going to do this a little darker, and I'll come in here with a little more blue. Do a little squiggly wiggly in there. Then we'll come up here and we'll do this one here. And I can even, you know, add a little bit of flourishes if I want to on it. Okay. Just a little bit. This is just for fun. And these will end up being tags. Okay. Tags or pockets or something. Then what I'm going to do is, let's see, since I'm sitting here doing nothing tonight, I might as well just do this with you, right? Let's see, let's take and put a little bit of, I can do a little bit of the green. Let's do a little bit of the green Distress Oxide. I'm going to come in here over some of these white spaces and just add a dab in there. I don't necessarily need to cover up all the white. Let's do that. Okay. Just kind of softens it a tad. Okay. And then I've got her done. Now, what I would do with this one is I'm just going to cut it off. And you can see very simply here how this ends up just being a tag. So let's take my pink and shears. You see, very sad. Talked to my 9th grade daughter, and 2 of her classmates got into it. One beat and drowned. The other, she was, what? Oh my gosh, Rita. That's horrible. Oh my gosh. There are such horrible things. And then that shooting in that mosque there today in California, and I saw them bringing those precious little 5 and 6 and 7-year-old little children all lined up with their hands on each other's shoulders. It just breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Well, I am so sorry that your granddaughter experienced that. I really am, Rita. Isn't that awful? That is awful. Keep her granddaughter in our prayers, everybody. So this one here, I'm going to take it and I'm going to, let's just do this with the pinking shears around it. Boy, let me tell you, our world is very evil. You are right, Rita. There's so much evil, but you know what? The only thing that can conquer evil is light. The darkness that evil brings can only be defeated by light. And, you know, we know our light is through our Lord Jesus Christ, and that's why it's so important that we try to share our light as much as we can. Okay, so that's going to be a tag. And then, let's see here. I like to put my little gessos on this, so I'm going to gesso this. And I'm just going to gesso it with my finger because, you know, I like to play a finger paint. So if anybody's wondering, that's just gloss gesso. I get it at Hoblob. In fact, I've got to go get some more. I was going to go do that today and I forgot. Now, most people use a brush to do this, but I don't want to dirty a brush and have to go wash it. So I'm just going to use my finger. Why not? It's water, so it'll wipe off. But I like to put gesso on it because it gives it just a smidge of a sheen. You know, whereas Mod Podge, you can get a really, really significant gloss with Mod Podge. And I use that a lot too. But for this one, I'm just going to kind of make it a softer sheen. And that's what we'll put on this tonight. Okay. There we go. And there, it's not dry, so it looks cloudy. But when it dries, it's going to really look vivid. Looking vivid. Okay, now, get that wiped off of there. So what do you have on your tables tonight, everybody? What is on your crafting table? Can you tell me? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. I wish I had. I left it in the other room. This is the next thing I'm going to be working on. Got my sewing machine out. Going to be working on doing some pages for junk journaling where you take a pattern and then you put them all together and do whatever you want and then make the designs. That's coming up. I'm going to be doing that very soon. And I have all my things up here ready for the journal. Did you guys see this? This is just show and tell night, okay? Did you guys see these? These are the cutest things too, and I'm going to be making more of these. But this one here I actually bought from somebody. But look at it. They're just made out of a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Okay, scrapbook paper. And then they're stuffed with all kinds of fun goodness. Look at all the stuff in there. Isn't that precious? I love this. And this is one that's probably going to be going in one of my journal kits too. I'm going to put the whole kit and caboodle in there. Like last week when I did the ladybug theme one. So those are going to go in some of my upcoming journals. That'll be on my next sale. All kinds of goodies. I love to just find, look at this piece of paper here. Somebody had just taken this and it was just their scrapbook. And they had put all the butterflies on the scrapbook. And they're those pet stickers. Look at that. The things we can do. The things we can do. So, got this one here. Isn't this cool? Look at this. This is a piece of paper, but it's white, but this one's gold. Isn't that cool? Fun stuff. You know, you find a lot of stuff, too, when you go to garage sales, but to estate sales and things. So today, oh my gosh, I should have brought it in here. Today I went to my Bible study, and my dear friend Deb is totally downsizing because she's going to move. She thinks she's going to move, and she's totally downsizing her craft stash. And so she called me this weekend, and she said, Celeste, when you come Monday, I want you to come upstairs, and I want you to go through my stuff, and you take whatever you want. So I brought home, I don't know, 3 sacks of different things. But I love that type of stuff too, because some of it's used, some of it wasn't. I got the cutest little set of stamps, and they say something about, thank you for supporting my business, a little stamp pad. And then look at this cute little ribbon that was in here. You see that? That was in this little piece. So this here, I already know right now, is going to end up at some point being part of a journal kit. I already know. My mind is already working. And so those are some things that I had gotten that were unique. Look at these that I had picked up at an antique store a while back. Look at these old, are you ready? These old anniversary cards. This one says, love Marilyn and Oliver. Do you know what Marilyn and Oliver? I don't know them, but you might. And then this one. Hi, Sherry. How are you, my dear friend? Very sad. Talk to my, okay, I did that. Sherry and Catherine. Let's see. Let me get you scroll down here. I love taking old envelopes and decorating them. That is fun, isn't it? Gina, I like your envelope. Gorgeous. How do you use old patterns? Well, you take old patterns, and what I'm going to try to do with it is I'm going to take them and I'm going to fold them up, and then I'm going to take my sewing machine and I'm just going to sew through the layers, and I'm going to try to make them like 8 by 11, 8 by 12, 12 by 12 sheets that can be used for journals. So that's what my goal is going to be for vintage journals or a sewing themed journal. Wouldn't that be fun? So that's what I'm planning. So then on these different anniversary cards that I had picked up, I got this whole thing, you guys. Like I said, I think this was at an estate sale. It was either there or at the antique store. But I venture to say it was more of the estate sale. But, you know, you cut these out. You can fussy cut them. You can even make these into journals. Look at this pretty. So have you ever made a card journal? Look, this is my favorite one. Isn't that pretty? Card journals, you know, are smaller, and you just take it and put them. Look at this pretty one. Now you know that's me, right? You just take them and you would do them like you would do in a journal, okay? And then you can do, now some of them you might not like the bases of them, but I've seen people that have taken these and they layer them. So here's a large one. Let's put the large one at the front. And they just stack them in here, okay? Then I gotta remember to show you this one over here. It's cute. Okay, they just stack them in here. And then they open them up. And then the pages that have like maybe somebody's writing on them, then you take that and you're going to cover that. So for example, if I wanted to cover this, let's just say that I would take this piece of paper and I would trace it out and fit it in there. And then that's going to be the inside. And then you do the same thing on these other pages. So then you end up with a journal, you guys. Looking these, you got these at an estate sale. Okay? And so there you've got, like here's a little cute one. It says, a prayer for you. It's a skinny one. So see, when I do my journals, I like to make my pages, not all of them, but something like this. I don't need it to all be the same size. They can be different. So you can see here, okay, so watch what happens when you open it up. You see there? See, it's not the same size, and that's totally okay. And then this little skinny one could go right in here, and it can be like that. That's what makes your journals so fun and chunky, I think. So that's what I would do. So it's something I'm going to do like that. Okay. And then, but I wanted to show you. So a couple of these I got to show you. They're so funny. Like this one here could go in here. And I could venture this even being something that could be a cover of a journal. And then I would come up here where it says an anniversary message to mother and father. I would put something in here, like another little tag over it to make it my journal or make it my card, okay? But I could do that, you know, I could back it with something. But isn't that just fun? I forgot I even had these laying there. But here's, look at that. I showed you that one. This one even had a little envelope here. Now, anybody speak, I don't even know what language is this. Is this French? Oh my, it's French, I think. Does any of you speak French? Oh, Teresa, I'm so glad you got it. I'm going to make me some more of those too, but maybe not the strawberry theme. I'm so glad you got it. Hi, Gina Oliveria. Good evening to you, my sweet friend. Sherry, that is a gorgeous card, aren't they? I just love these. Like I said, this was an estate sale, and they had them all in a bag. So, okay, this one, does anybody speak French? Look at this cute little card. I don't even know what was in here. It says, Mille souhaits de fêter. Mille souhaits fêter. I hope I'm not saying anything bad. And then the inside it says, Un séjour de votre anniversaire, recevez mes meilleures pensées pour une joyeuse journée. Something about, I wish you some joy on your journey. I do know what that says. Et du bonheur tout l'année. And this is from Mim Hop. Look at that. Is there anybody that can read that? Isn't that precious? Now this one here, I'll never get rid of the words on that. It's a little French. I spoke French in, see, what grade was it? 7th grade. Bonjour. Oui, mon crayon. Bonjour, monsieur, mademoiselle. And that was it of it. But I love that. It's all in French. That's a treasure for me. I love it. And then, of course, look at this one here. This cute little fold open. Isn't that cute? And these are old. These are, you know, they're pretty yellowed. Some of them. But then this one, I'll have to show you. Anniversary greetings. It's like a fishbowl. Anniversary greetings. And it opens up. Okay, can you see it? They're kissing and blowing bubbles. And then it says, mighty glad to see you are still bubbling over with happiness. Loads of luck forever, Alice and Stan Cash from the VFW. Isn't that fun? So you know this one's going to get made into something, right? I don't know what yet, but it will get made into something. So I had those cards. Those are in my little stash. And then I wanted to see if there's anything else that I just have to show you before we sign off. Oh, gosh. Yeah, there is. Okay. So I have been collecting paper. So I've been ordering things. And you see this is starting to dry. Won't that be a cute little tuck? Put it up here to dry. But I've been collecting different things, finding different things. So this one here is somebody that I had gotten of this whole stack. Okay, I gotta show you these, you guys. And maybe you've seen these, but when I saw these, it was the first time I had seen them. So this was somebody that took old book pages and has copied color prints on top of the book pages somehow. And I'm gonna figure out how to do this. You have your mom's cards, my grandpa's, and oh, Teresa, what a treasure. What a treasure. Oh, gosh, Karen, aren't they adorable? So look at this. This was a cookbook page. Okay, so it's torn out. Salt pork and cream gravy. 1.5 pound of salt pork sliced. Oh, my gosh. I don't even know how old this was, but then on the front she took and she copied a colored piece on and ran. So I'm assuming what she did is she ran this through the copy machine and then had this on in her printer somehow. I'm going to figure this out, ladies. I really am. So she did that. So there were several pages like that. Then here's another book page, has acknowledgments. This one here, let's see. Yeah, she just took and printed Look at, she printed this flower graphic somehow on top of the wording. Aren't these awesome? So these here, when I'm doing my journal kits, I'm trying to stick some of these in, at least one of these in each of my journal kits I do too. Aren't those, look at that. Mexican orange candy, panocha, and plain caramel. This is on the back. So if you get tired of looking at it, you can eat it. Oh gosh. This one here, look at that. All printed on page. This is going to be, I'm putting this out, it's got to be, I'm going to figure out how I can do these. Okay, so I got tons of those. I picked up tons of those. Look at that one. Isn't that pretty? Then I did something. Look at this. Somebody took another, it looks like a, this looked like it was a magazine. It was a nature magazine. So it talks about all of the, it's like a cellulosis. Sounds like a disease, but it's a flower, evidently. Celeriac, celery, it's all alphabetical order. That was a magazine, it's the shiny page, but then they did that on the front of it. Copied something right on front of it. Look at this one. Didn't that turn out cool? This was an old handyman book. See, it tells you how to build furniture and all kinds of stuff. Here's a little picture of a little boy, multi-purpose orthopedic walker on one side. And then that on the other. See if it has anything in here. It's a year of that. No years, but it was page number 1455. That was a big manual, wasn't it? Gosh, that was a big one. Whoops, I didn't want to turn that on. Turn that off. Okay. So anyway, those are just some of the fun stuff that I've been accumulating over the last months. And let me turn him off. Okay. And then, of course, you got the music sheets. I got some of my music sheets here from, I think these came from Cheryl in one of her sales. And Mama P. And there's something that was used at the pattern, piece of a pattern, and then sewn together. So I've just got to get myself busy doing these projects that I have that I want to do. And I wonder if they use the page itself in the feeder tray. I think they do. Because the lady, the gal that I got these from was telling how she had done it, how you do it. And that's how you do it. It goes through the feeder. Yes. And then these here, I'm thinking would have to be like on the computer, right? Because if I just laid the paper on top and then ran the paper underneath, I'll just have to try it and see. I'm thinking, would it cover up the wording? I don't know. But yes, it's going to have to go through the feeder, Karen, absolutely. So, we'll be playing with that. That'll be a good little project for John to help me with. He'll be my feeder person. So, anywho, let me get it clipped back together and put it in my, these are all pieces that I've put over here in my tray that I use with the Friendship Journals on a Journey that's coming up. In fact, this Sunday night is when we do ours. I'll be on at 4 o'clock Central, and I'll be working on Becky's Whimsies, and she's got a lavender theme in her journal. I cannot hardly wait, because all of them I've done so far have been pinks and blacks and pinks and blacks. I've only got a lavender one to play around with. But anyway, I just want to say thanks for coming in. Like I said, I wasn't planning on it, but I thought, hey, I'm going to just show you guys some of this stuff. So thanks for visiting with me. And I hope you all have a good day. And I'll see you Wednesday at 4 o'clock Central on the Crafty Bunch, doing Heidi's Vintage Wednesday event. Okay? Give yourself a hug for me. Bye-bye, everybody.